So I'm going to revisit the general flow, because that was one of my objectives, was to come up with a, even if it wouldn't be how it actually is to come up with a very set scenario using some of the mechanics and stuff that we've discussed, from a kind of narrative progression through the flow of the game perspective. And so that's what I'm trying to be looking at. Hey, Apple Fritters, how you doing? Nice to see you. A long time, a long time. A monopony. One pony. One pony. Alright, so what did I have this from before? You choose your character, you get to choose your starting character from all unlocks. You choose your second character, 3 unlock character draw face up, you get to choose one. We don't want players to restart the game to get optimal, so this needs some consideration. Yeah, maybe you just always start with the same ones. You start with the same 2. But anyway, also we gotta think, like, if this is not Slay the Spire and it's Darkest Dungeon, it's unlikely in Darkest Dungeon you're ever gonna want to restart the game, because you lose in progress, right? So if we think of it like that you've gained progress, and then when it comes to the time to gain a new character, that you you've already got too much to make it worthwhile to restart. If going Darkest Dungeon approach, no, let's say with Darkest Dungeon approach, which is what we're going for at the moment. If we only allow the role of character to happen after you've already acquired progress on your save file, and then the restart for optimal start is not a problem. Maybe there's a selection of characters you can start with. Like, maybe you just start with 4 characters and you choose. Well, especially if it's Darkest Dungeon style, then they very well may be the idea that you have characters who don't go off on the adventure, right? So that could work. That there's 4 to choose from, and then you choose which of them you want to take out on your adventure. It could be a thing. So I think we should probably change this. This was the original flow that I'd read, but I think it's changed. Yeah, let's get rid of it all. All of it, stuff it. Got to make the first encounter super easy, because you could choose 2 low HP characters. Yes, but we could also try and balance the game brain a little bit about not quite success or fail, but the more damage your characters take, or if your characters return and they're all kind of full health at the end of a mission, then it takes less time for them to recover. Whereas those who don't, who come back beaten up quite a lot, will be quite fatigued and need more time to recover. So you can succeed either way, but they'll just need a rest. So having a healer minimizes risk, but also allows you to maybe replay the characters more often, or less often they need to have a rest. We could do it that way. But you're right, yeah. The start would need to be, they need to win the start, right? It needs to be pretty much the challenge. There should be no challenge, but there should be decisions to make and thoughts and learning. That's what you want in the first bit, I guess. We could even stage it, have it so based on the different setup that you've got, we have different enemies, or a different kind of path to show, or a different quest, perhaps. Oh, I also thought of a trinket while I was in the gym this morning. I thought a trinket which would be only usable in Cattenburg. I'm now imagining that Cattenburg is the city that we live in, and we go off on adventures and then keep coming back to Cattenburg to keep the... I don't know. Anyway, we're probably going to move around because we have different areas, but we could just venture to different areas around Cattenburg. Anyway, this is beside the point. So, only usable in a town, let's say. And when you use it, it's like a trumpet, and it'll bring 3 infantry of the Cattenburg army to the front line to defend you. Like, they only have like a low health. They're not going to do any attacks, but just to give out like a shield wall across the whole thing. That's what I was thinking. The idea would that it's 3 frogs. That would be great. But the idea that it's only good for the defensive ones, so you can have situational trinkets. Sorry, that would make the player think, oh, okay, we got a defend event. We better change our gear based on that. You know. Anakin, the next one would be in the summer, so we're probably looking around June. That's what everyone's been asking for, right, Apple? Okay, so let's go and look at the characters. So it's either or we don't give him a character to start with. I think that could be... I think that's probably the best shot, actually, based on what you're saying. They just have to have a balanced set. Characters start off with the same 3 characters on a new save. I'm just going to refer to it as a new save. I think we also need maybe a glossary to... is that not a glossary? So this is going to be... in a Darkest Dungeon style game, progress continues continually. The save file, the game. So accumulated progress, etc. Between let's just do that for now. Anyway, okay. Hey Merlin, nice to see you. Yeah, I think really if this is going to be someone learning about the game as well, Brain, you're right. We can make sure that it's balanced, and we teach about the different types of characters. You know, we have someone who can do more heals. We can have someone who does crits, like the rogue, and then someone who does more power, like normal attack power, for example. Progress continues continually. Yeah, you're right there. The phrasing there. Okay, anyway, right. So start off with the same 3 characters on a new save. This allows a balance and to ensure as to balance the player's first experience in the game. introduce the different styles, I guess, of heroes. Available, this reduces decision fatigue of the player, who initially won't understand what any of the stats do and will find it hard to reason which character would be best for those types of players. Okay, so we need to think about new character acquisition. COC. English is great. How am I doing this lovely Sunday? I'm alright, thank you very much. I got a lot of my little bits that I needed to do done this morning. So I went to the store, I did some cleaning, I went to the gym, I caught up on some Cattenburg Devlog from last time so that I could remember where I was, so I could do a little bit of work on it. Yeah, it felt like I did more, but I guess that's about it. Okay, so new character acquisition. I guess this is to be confirmed. It could be a selection of adventures to choose from each time you return to. I'm just going to write Cattenburg for now as a. The main city or location where the party of adventurers return to after each mission. I think we were calling them missions before, weren't we? Because writing base is harder. No, I want to say Cattenburg as much as I can, Brainoid. How's your day been, Merlin? Each time you want to return to Cattenburg. So these are options, I guess, right? Similar to Darkest Dungeon. I don't like that because... Well, how they do that is they're already a little bit leveled, right? And that means that you could have 2 warriors and 3 priests and stuff like that. How do we feel about that, Brain? Alternatively, there could be missions to go and save people, and that's where you... there could be missions... let's not do missions like that. Let's just say what it is up here. The term for... general term for the various objectives. How do I even... this boss in this area. Defend town X. Defend that town, or collect resources. Okay. Hey, Messy Coda, how you doing? Is today the end of the messy jam? Assigned locked trinkets or passives that are unique to them, maybe. Yeah, I'm trying to think how they made it seem interesting having like two of the same characters and why you would not take those. I can't ever remember having two of the same characters in. Oh, a lot of the reason was like they're positional, right? They had certain things that meant because you had to put them in a position. Yeah, you had to put them in a position, which meant that you. Uh, hey, Coin, thank you very much for the 10 bits. Appreciate it. Yeah, because they had positions and their abilities were associated with those positions. So, say you had a character that could only attack from the back, having two of those meant you couldn't really fully utilize them, and also you didn't get the benefits of the other type of classes, I guess. Messi Coda, you said 105 participants. Also, we got to 100 participants for Honest Jam. I think we only had 20 to 25 submissions in the end. So hopefully they you get a good amount of transfer from the participants to submissions. They would perhaps have different. I don't know whether they'd have different base stats, but maybe different trinket / ability. It feels bad if it's a trinket because you could just take them to steal their trinket. You steal the trinket and then give it to your one that's leveled up, and then you bin them. Locked trinkets. So trinkets, yeah, that are assigned. Okay, yeah, you did say. I agree, and that did cross my mind too. So I think we're going to the same way there. They perhaps different trinkets. What did how do we say? Or passives? Yeah, that make them unique. And I think we could get Spacey to do different armor variants or color variants. You know. These would benefit from very minor, so like minor variants, minor visual variants. Did you take part yourself then, Messi Coda? Okay, that benefits. Okay, cool. And then there could be missions to save. I don't know, which result in you finding, I guess, yeah, getting a choice of a new warrior, a new adventurer, we should call him, sorry, at the end of the run. No, as a mission reward. I guess this could mean these could be thematic, like you've just gone and defend town, a neighboring town, and after successfully doing so, one of their best mages asks to join or something like that. That could work. You didn't manage to make a game. Was it you didn't plan on, or did things get busy for you, good sir? And do you do like a? I know you got like a bit of a prize pool for it, haven't you? Are you going to be playing through many of the games just on stream or anything like that, or is it more just sorting out the winners? Damn life. What's it like, huh? What's it like? Icarus's prospect approach is interesting, by the way. They use a node navigation. We need to unlock a few nodes to move on to others. Yeah, I can't imagine exactly how that works, but it sounds on the surface interesting. Uh, as much as like the idea sounds nice, Messi, I really doubt I'm gonna have the time to go and check through 50 games or whatever. I'm already feeling a little like I've got too much on my plate between Cattenburg, AHA, work, and an out of work project I'm doing with someone from work. Yeah, it's probably I don't want to say yes to something I'm not going to do. No, not yet. It's not possible. I am too handsome. It breaks my cloning machine. I've tried. It's expensive to repair, only to break it when I next try. Okay, so there could be missions which result in you getting a new adventurous award. This could be thematic, like you go defend a neighboring town. Okay, cool. Another way of doing it, so they either each time you come back after a mission, or series of missions, they've had different trinkets. These would benefit from minor visual variants. Yes, let's just have that as related to that previous point a bit more. Maybe I'll just pop really ugly faces when I do the clone operation. Apple fritters. There you go. It's like they say, like, was it? If you do your face, oh, what do they say? Your face will stay like that. Like, don't cross your eyes. Wasn't it that thing that kids used to get told? If the wind blows when you're pulling a filly or crossing your eyes, that your face will stay like that, or something dumb. I remember some old kind of wives' tale thingy-majiggy. Or lie you say to children to stop them doing silly things. Whatever phrase we want. What happens if you stop your sneeze, brain? It's a lie. Okay, new character. We need another way of getting characters potentially to consider. Let's see. So the first one is just when you return back, this always wants to have. And this will depend on how easy characters die, or whether if they are removed permanently when killed, and how much character kind of variance is required by the gameplay. You have a heart attack if you stop your sneeze. Crikey. Okay, is there a different way you could have them? So the other way that you could have them is there could be new character nodes, adventurer nodes on the map, on the world map, that can be found on a variety of missions. These nodes are optional, and if anything would require the party to go on a detour, making their overall mission more challenging, or time restrictions / resource restrictions. Oh, sorry, I have an itchy nose today. It's clean. Look. I don't even want to do it. It's clean, but I'm not going to lick my finger after that. But it's just tickling. It's probably the myriad of nose hairs that you acquire as a aging man. Okay. Time resource restrictions. Okay, cool. Did I put you off? Did I? No problem, Messi. I hope it goes well. Well done you on running a great game jam as well. It's a shame I couldn't be involved. It did cross my mind a couple of times this month, but yeah, I've not. It's not that I've been like rammed off my feet, but my energy to work, I've been kind of at capacity. So I'll be doing one in the summer, so probably around June, and then I'll do one in December again. I got to bleach my hair before the next one. You get to see like Bieber Dan. I'm looking forward, Brain. I'm looking forward. Do you know what, Brain? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a small scope one. We're gonna do small scope and polish, and we're gonna finish. We're gonna finish. Oh, I need to book the Monday off. Actually, great point. Small scope. I'm in. No, we're gonna finish, mate. We're gonna finish before. Right, let's just say it. And we can clip this and we can play it back to me. For Ludum Dare 50, Brainoid and I will not overscope, and we will finish our gameplay loop and features on the 48-hour mark, and then we'll use the final day to fix bugs, to add polish, and to get it submitted on time and practice making builds. Don't book Monday off. We will add. We never add during submission hour. We finish. Addition is really a strong word. Andre, it's really good to see you. How you doing? Hexadonut as well. Good day to you. I like it. Don't book Monday. No, I need the Monday off. But maybe I won't take the Tuesday off, because I normally take a rest day afterwards, so I'm not completely spent. It'd be a roguelike MMO tic-tac-toe. Oh, MMO tic-tac-toe sounds quite good, actually. Yeah, like when you get the final place, it's gonna be like finish him, and you got to place it down in a special way. You can set it on fire. What? No, you did not. Okay, so on this, they could be adventure nodes. Yeah, these are optional. Yeah, okay, we're happy with that. So we've got character acquisition. Take care, Messi. Lovely to see you. Anyway, I think as it's Ludum Dare 50, Brain, we should really do it. You know, we should really, for the event, we should just do better. Although Ludum Dare 50 is also they're starting the whole you can take as long as you want to do it approach. They're copying the chill jams of Messy Coder and Honest Jam. It's fine, whatever. But yeah, they're doing that. They haven't announced all of the details yet, but pretty much said that there'd be a category for people who can't just cram a weekend, and they can take up to any time in the 3 weeks to do it or something. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Next dinner, why you be mean? I feel like that's all you got. Okay. So campaign map. Before even the campaign map, I think we need to. Maybe that isn't a title anymore. We're now gonna have Cattenburg base for Brainoid. Can we add more cocoa? Ah, spacey. Honestly, there's something so joyous about it. I know it sounds silly, but it's generally one of the features that I thought I want to do this if I ever do a game that's remotely similar. Pointless things that just feel nice when you find them, because they're so hard to find. You're like, oh, I found one. It's very rewarding when cocoa seeds are. Okay, Cattenburg. So this serves Cattenburg. Let's scroll down a bit, shall we? Okay, it's not letting us scroll too much because let's just add a lot of space at the bottom. There you go. So Cattenburg serves as the base for your party. This is where the player gets to kind of, I guess, access all their progression related, their progress related related items, manage their roster. Would we call it roster for everyone? And party is the actual party you're going out with? That might be good. So roster is all available, all adventurers that are available. Spacey. Hey Littlewood, lovely to see you. Good day to you. Like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I do not know what that is. Yeah, notice board mission list. I'm looking forward to that. I do think, like, I in that catch up we had, I used Witcher as a reference, and I like that idea that we just have like a Spacey could draw us a wonderful kind of notice board with bits of papers pinned up, and they could just have an icon on it to say what it is, and then you click on it, and then it'll come up with text that we can write, and we don't need art for each one or anything. Something like that could be interesting. Ah, nice. Okay, you go explore. Yes, similar to that. You could write. I don't know if you're correcting me or making fun. Essentially, I meant that we as game developers would write the text rather than Spacey needing to do different assets for different type of missions. Okay, all adventures that are available to the player when in Cattenburg party would be the current adventuring party, mission party, the current 3 adventurers. I think we're sticking with 3 because the board kind of relies on it. 1 to 3 adventurers who are selected for the given mission. Imagine, Brain. I'm imagining like an event where Cattenburg comes under attack massively further into the game, and all of your each time one of your character faints, we'll use Pokemon terms. When they faint and Nurse Lovejoy takes them away, then the other characters who are in your roster can fill in the slots. So it's kind of like a last stand where you try and use everyone that you've got, and you can choose who comes in. That could be a fun little, not main mechanic of the game, but a fun little kind of game mode. This is my justification. Only 3 can go. Yeah, I think unless we have, as you said, like a wagon or something that they travel on, that doesn't have room for more. Or maybe they've only got 3 horses. I don't know if cats should ride horses. What would cats ride, Spacey? I feel if we went to the desert land, we'd need a different mount to if we went to the swampland. So maybe we take the giant frogs to the swampland. Maybe that's how we could do progress in the different areas, is you first need to do the first area of the swamp. And your reward for that is like frog mounts. which then mean that you can go further into the swamp and travel easier. Greedy raccoons, wooden toy horses. I don't know how much energy efficiency they would offer. Maybe some of those sticks with just a horse head that kids carry around with them, right? When they play. Okay. This is fine. So Cattenburg serves as the base for your party, for your for the player. And no, for the roster of adventurers the player has acquired. This is where the player gets access. This is where, or the player. Here, the player can access all of their progress-related items, manage their roster, and prepare. Select. Let's just do can, and I feel these deserve more than a list item worth of content. Here the player can access all their progress related items, so this should be things like view their roster, perhaps upgrade their, I don't know if we're going to do this, but like their stats or armor or trinket or loadout, update their, let's just say loadout for now. View their roster, upgrade their loadout. I think that should probably, and give activities like non-mission activities. This is similar to Darkest Dungeon, where you can choose the, you know, they go to the catnip factory in order to reduce their stress, or they go to the hot tin can roof to let off some steam. A camel with 3 bumps. With 2 bumps can only carry 3 heroes. Let's have a look. So one goes on the neck, one goes between, and the other's like clinging on the back. Can you imagine the arms would be around the neck, around this hump, and then around this? But okay, I like that. Yeah, I think if we just have like a 3-person saddle, if so, on or whatever vehicle we have, if we just restrict it to look like it could only take 3 people, then that'd be fine. And just when we do like background shots of different areas, make out as if there's not a massive amount of camels or horses or whatever. You don't. It doesn't need to be a complete reason for it, I guess, right? Like, why in Darkest Dungeon can't you take 10 people? You don't know how, that doesn't need to be explained. So really, I think we're overthinking it. You could also would the smithy in that be here then, Brain? If you've thought about it, you know, like the cardsmith and that we've talked about before. I guess they would be at the village, right, or the Cattenburg. Yeah. Okay. Visit the smithy to upgrade or discard or dismantle. I'm using too many Lost Ark terms at the moment. Unwanted cards. Thank you for the follow, Ali McCarthy. Welcome to the stream. Visit the smithy to upgrade cards. Yeah, ability. Yeah, cards. I don't need to say that. I guess it'd be like visit the merchant to buy supplies, trinkets maybe. Oh, hi, Weedlol. I think trinkets and that should be like rewards almost more often, but Mm. Yeah, that's a good point, Brainerd. So maybe whilst traveling, you meet other smithies, and you can buy blueprints from them, and then you take that back to Cattenburg Smithy, who can then you can then make cards using that. Or that blacksmith would know then how to make certain cards, right? That could work. I like that. Okay. Supplies for missions. Yeah, select missions. This would be like browse a selection of missions, available missions. Choose a party to embark on said mission. So Applefritter's suggestion was that we have 4 random missions. Pick one, come back, 4 new random missions, but the mission bar's gone up. Yeah, that's one approach. Let me write that down before I address Brownoid's one. So we're just going to say like... So, I guess... In Cattenburg, there will be a notice board, which is the way that available missions are presented to the player. Must select an available mission from the notice board. And select a party of adventurers to embark on said mission. Okay. So now we want to have a look at the population of the notice board. Could be done one of the following ways. So option 1, which was this randomized missions contributing to an overall roster level. So n missions from a mission pool are added to the notice board at random. When a player completes a mission, they are and return to base. All missions have now been replaced. Excuse me. By a new mission. Selection of missions. Each completed mission contributes right, to a some form of progression, to some form of progress bar. This could be like your trust from the King of Cattenburg or the Queen of Cattenburg or whatever. Or entrustment or something. Is that even a word? Entrustment? I feel it's harder to do story in this way, so this would just be a repeatable grind in a way, right? But then you could have the story happen each time the entrustment level goes up. You could have like okay, we've now got this special mission for you. And that could work. That could work as well. Upon completing the progress of your current entrustment level, you are presented with a new, with a special story mission. Which we'll see. I think that this, we could still use the notice board for it. Collection of missions. Are required to work through. Once completed, the cycle repeats, though the random pool of missions is now scaled up. Includes additional areas, maybe, types of missions. And includes additional areas, types of missions to reflect your level of entrustment. My long text is a little confusing. Just think about the main quest thingy and ignore the rest. What was your... Oh, up there. No, I'm going to read through it all anyway, Brain. You wrote it, even if it's confusing. I will embrace it with open arms. And do this face, this frowny face. Okay, so I think that's not too bad an approach, right? Because could you choose to carry on? Maybe this is optional as well. Like, so you can carry on doing random missions of a lower level to kind of level up or to prepare yourself. That could work. That could work. The entrustment mission could be that becomes available, allowing characters to continue players, sorry, to continue grinding the current tier content, being like the random missions. A notice board to ensure the party is prepared for what would be a more challenging encounter, challenging battle, be more challenging content. Okay, that was option 1. So, Brainoid was saying, I don't know if we have a main quest kind of thing here, which actually moves the story forward. If that's the case, completing those missions should unlock the next main quest. Oh, okay, we've kind of said the same thing, yeah. And for the side ones, we can either make sure that there's always n number of side quests on the board until we run out of them, or maybe they're repeatable. Or each time you complete a mission, there's a chance to get new missions on the board. More chance if you have less missions on the board. Oh yeah, so it's not always replaced. Yeah, like replacing ones is good. Because that means sometimes you do have to do the missions that aren't great. It'd be nice if there's a fallback, like if say there's 4 missions up and you don't want to do any of them, could you pay something in order to get a new mission, or could you go and do like a generic mission, which is just like a resource run, for example, and then hopefully that would, when you come back to town, mean they get reshuffled. If we can think of like a story, like a logical reason why that would work, that might be nice. But okay, so the other way to do it is all missions are story based. Sorry, all story-based missions are always available alongside what do we call them? Do we grinding? The side quests, yeah, side missions. To strengthen your roster and collect cards, blueprints, trinkets. Yeah, okay. So the main difference with this is that suggested roster levels on them. What, as in like what, how, or like what level party? The average party level of your sorry, the average character level of your party. Is that what you mean by that? Okay, yeah. So I guess the question of whether or not they get replenished or they stay up on the board is kind of agnostic from what approach we have. I do kind of like that idea though, because it does, we're basically giving good accessibility in terms of difficulty. Is you can, if you're really good, and if we make the game possible for you to be really good and proper min-max your play, you can make it so you can go straight and do the story mission, but it's going to be hard. And there'll be a warning, you know, saying, no, your roster is below the recommended level for this. Are you sure you want to do it? And that could make it challenging. Whereas otherwise you can just keep doing these side missions. Or maybe there's only so many side missions as well. A lot of questions. But they're good questions. I think all of these suggestions are sounding interesting, at least. It's better than kind of struggling to find something that sounds like it'd be interesting to play. Elisha, if you're listening, how long have we got on the rice? So yeah, I guess the story-based missions means that there's. I'm trying to see. Actually, is there much difference, or should we go for this way? I guess the main difference is whether or not you need to get to a certain point. Yeah. Okay. No. Let's write out the difference here. Missions have a recommended difficulty rating based on your roster's experience and dex, maybe. Story missions, the difficulty rating of story missions mean that players will typically need to complete a variety of side missions in order to prepare for the upcoming side mission, main mission, story mission. The term quest is nicer than mission, just because it's more RPG. But we can always change that. So they use to strengthen your roster. So what would happen? I guess each time you come back, would there be I guess we need to, we can leave that like that, right? And then we can have a look at replenishment. This could be a separate, so let's just call this mission replenishment. Options. And then what I'd like maybe, Bruno, before we finish today, or before I finish today, is that we can, these kind of options, we just choose one of them, even if it's not final. We'll choose one to kind of build around for now. Because at the moment I'm realizing I've got like a lot of kind of branches. All right, now you get to listen to me eat. I'll move the microphone away so hopefully you don't hear as much as my saliva. Papadum and leftover Indian. We've been looking forward to this Indian that we ordered last night all week. It wasn't like, oh yeah, what should we do on the weekend? It'd be like, the weekends come in and we get to order takeout. Spacey, what did you think of that Eternals film then? Okay, so easy bit here is story missions. Only one option I can think of here. They are linear. I don't know. Maybe you get a choice. You know. Do you want to go and investigate the mysteries of the desert, or do you want to go and find old swamp dweller Steve and find out if he's seen anything mysterious in the swamp recently? It'd probably make it more interesting. Hey, Ruru. What do you mean by hey, though? Hey. Becomes available once you've unlocked, you've completed the previous story mission in the chain. There is scope for a branch or the story mission having two options, such as the player to progress through in an order, in their own preferred order. Example: complete mission A. Let's call it story mission A. Presented with a story mission B1 and B2, both of which lead to different places, which are not related, but both must be completed. before progressing to story mission C. Maybe this could be, there's a different way we could do this. The alternative would be complete, not completely. Story mission A presented with story mission C, B and C. Maybe this would be better to be B and C, because you got to do both of them, right? So we can move before progressing to D, and then this presented with story mission B1 and B2. Both they are mutually exclusive, so the player can only choose to do one or the other, and then progress to story mission C. Yeah, that sounds alright to me. I mean, you see 2 main quests on the board, and maybe even one looks harder, but I'm thinking of the better reward, you go for that one. I think for side quests, I think that would be a way to do it, right? Do you think it would work with story? It's more of a chance of, you know, you got to save either A or B, and you go off to A to do your mission instead, and then that could play into a little bit into the story later. For example, the people at A who you saved, you now have an option to, you know, use some of their perks, like maybe the special cards are only available through that faction or something like that, you know? Ah, non-linear. Sorry, yeah, it was 4 minutes ago. I apologise, mate. You can do a side quest that gives you a best kind of armor. Yeah, I think rewarding people for doing the side quest as well, not only as a way to power up, but also like to make it easier, but also just because it feels good to go and do this, and it allows your character to do different sort of combos. That could be fun as well. Yeah, so I think chain quests are probably, so these story missions, I think I mentioned it somewhere. Yeah, a collection of missions here. So it'd be like one to the other, but they're all related to the same kind of narrative, I guess, right? So maybe we need to go and collect, you know, resources for Cattenburg, because there's going to be an attack on Cattenburg soon. So we go and collect all the resources, and then we need to go and like thin their supplies by attacking a few of the outposts, and then we need to do a defense mission at Cattenburg to stop an attack. I'm not too sure how that last one would fit in the gameplay of this, because the gameplay of this is quite, if you play Darkest Dungeon, that sort of style, where you have a base and then you choose a mission to go off and do it. Now there will be nodes on that mission. You can choose, like, it's a world map and you're choosing where to go on that map. But would that be whether we could do like quests that you acquire on the way there? It might not quite fit. Faction standings is a good one, because that could be, you get like a lot of RPGs have it that, you know, you earn favor enough with a certain clan, and then they will sell their stuff to you. So that could be a reason why people want to do certain side missions. I like that idea. You're correct, Brainoid. Almost finished, sorry people. Okay, sorry. Just wanted to write that down quickly. Okay, so I wrote down your point there as well, Ruru, because I think one, that is something we'd add later rather than factoring it in now. But I do quite like the idea of like special things can happen if you take a certain group of people to a certain quest in a certain area, a mission in a certain area, then that could trigger a different event. I think that's quite a nice little, maybe not Easter egg, but down that sort of route. Okay, well, I'm fine with that for now. Let's go back to this replenishment. So it's interesting because these side missions could have a longer term benefit. I'm thinking this entrustment idea could also be not just with your kingdom, but for the neighboring places as well. When you go and help those out. Maybe you do travel to different places. Like different towns, because that was one of our original ideas, right? And the different towns mean... But they would only be quests for that town, or for that area in that hub. And I think it just adds too much to it. I think for now we should probably just focus on one town. And see whether it makes sense or there's a requirement to have more. So let's do that. However, we can still affiliate, have the surrounding areas. So let's just say woodland, swamp, snow place, desert place. You can still have those. And you can have a kind of affiliation of people, like the goodies there. Because when you go to that area, you're still going to have like neutral or positive NPC spots. It's not all combat, right? Like the smithies that we talked about. There might be a shop, there might be a resting place, like a church and stuff like that. No, I don't think there'd be any need for fast travel in the current kind of structure of it. Okay. Okay. So that's story missions. We now want to look for side missions. So two options, I believe. One would be that we each time you return from a side mission, all previous side missions have been replaced, and you have a new pool of missions to choose from. I mean, we could also do a hybrid, and then the other one is existing. So areas will be gated off, I believe, Ruru, in terms of you won't have any missions in these certain areas, and then when you progress the main town that you're in, Cattenburg story along, you may get a mission where you're like, okay, we've heard from these people, and now you actually can go to that area. Like the only way you explore in this is on a mission. So you'd have to have a mission in a certain area in order to navigate that area. And we're also probably looking at doing like procedural map generation per area anyway. So it's not going to be like a map you learn. It'll just be an area which has properties such as types of enemies, things that impact the combat, the card game, based on the environment, and the types of NPC and events that you'd have there too. Okay, you return from a side mission. Only the previous completed will be replaced. Older missions remain on the board. So there's also variants to this. So variants to this would be variant side missions replaced based on chance. That chance increased based on how long it has been on the board for. So that means that players, interesting element to that, to this, players have to gamble to some extent that mission X will still be available when they get back. It makes sense story-wise as well that some other group of adventurers claimed that kind of bounty or mission off of the notice board. Which I know it doesn't always have to make sense, but I do like when we can give it a reason, because that can tie into the narrative, that can tie into the visuals, that can tie into just helping the player understand why it's no longer there. If they were interested. If they go on mission X, that mission Y still be well, yeah, if they were interested in both X and Y. It's also it's good for, also means that unwanted quests will naturally so this is like missions, sorry, avoided time after time. Yeah, like a duration. Yes, Brainerd, good point. Unwanted missions avoided time after time will naturally be removed from the board. So variant would be Similar to the above, there's a chance older missions will be replaced based on the duration, the length of time, duration, the time they've been on the notice board. Quest hub change when the NPC or player complete a quest showing the bounty. Like a bounty head gets mounted or captured. I'll go on this thing. Are you saying that like all the quests on the board would all change when you complete the main one? Uh-oh. Like it. Oh no! I was inactive too long. I thought I hit some weird text and voice in the back. I don't know, the queues haven't been as bad at all actually. But let's have a look. We are in the middle of the day on a Sunday. There wasn't a queue earlier. They opened a new bunch of servers on EU West, and even though that's probably closer to us, I didn't want to start a new character, especially since we had like Spacey and Alicia and Rubik's Cubed, who were on that server already. Anyway, version it's been on the notice board for. Okay, cool. It wouldn't make a. Do you notice the latency issue for yourself, Spacey, out of interest? Yeah. It could be more annoying, I guess, in raids. Hopefully not. We'll see. And probably in PvP, but you're not. Yeah, I don't think you're interested in PvP, so it shouldn't be an issue anyway. Sorry, I forgot to put my mic back down. Okay. Yeah, lots of good ideas. Here, we should also just say like missions could have an expiry time on them. Yeah. Could have an expiry time. Expiration time on them. Example, mission has a 2-week expiry time. Yeah, no, that's quite good actually. Expiration time. Each mission takes a week. So for that mission, you could either do it immediately or the following week, but after that, it's gone. This also would impact whether you could repeat a mission. Story missions would not have an expiration. Yeah, the week is just me trying to conceptualize it for now. I'm happy to go for a different turn. Yeah, what I worry about is that could be tricky, Brainoid, then, with, like, we'd have to use big units and stick to that. Otherwise, it could get confusing. Oh, crikey, the queue is quite big. Hi, if you were wanting to play at any point today, Alicia, I recommend queuing. Alicia's sorting through all her clips, though. She had like over 2,000 clips on her channel. Time take 3 days. Yeah, but then you find yourself, Brain, you're like 6 days in, and then you don't quite know. So then you've got like 1 day and a week before another one expires. I worry it would complicate it. No, it's not complicated, but it would add an extra granularity. Why? That's not the right. You know what I'm trying to say? Granular. It would make it more granular, which is good for like really min-maxing, doing the optimal way of doing these. But it could also be a confusing barrier for newer players. Granularity. I think I just said titty. I apologize for all those innocents out there who heard that. Yeah, I know. Oh. Indeed, Hellcat. Hey, Elsie, good to see you. Yeah, I was just expecting to make that sort of sound with the vowels at the end of the word, though. Lol. Anyway, crikey, hit my spoon. Getting all flustered. I think that works from a mission perspective. Is there anything that I didn't note down on this? So this should be missions. Okay. So is we still don't exactly know about like what you can do in Cattenburg. Like how does the roster work? What happens if your character dies? So let's just have an impactful questions that we need to address here. What is this website? What? Oh, this is Nuclino. It allows you to do just like organized notes in different sections. Just Google Docs is a bit it can get a bit big, and you can do like a little graph of stuff, but it's a bit of a gimmick, to be fair. But you can also do like boards, like a Kanban board sort of thing. You can put things into different sections, I think, possibly. And there's like an activity thing as well, which is quite nice. So this is based on these that I've created here, you'll see, automatically. Yes, oh yeah, that was the other thing. So you can actually integrate like a spreadsheet and something in, which is nice. So if you want, you can go, where is it? The plus maybe? Yeah, here. So you can add in a bunch of normal things, but you can also bring in apps and integrations. And so you can bring in like a spreadsheet or even a whiteboard that it links to an external website whiteboard, and you can change it or view it in this document, which is nice. So yeah, that's what we're using. Not used Notion. I've not used Notion to know, but I trust you on that, Hellcat. Okay, so impactful questions are: when an adventurer dies on a mission, are they dead? That's something for us to consider. I also feel that we need a reason. Is there an upkeep fee for for your roster? Something to prevent players accumulating a huge amount of adventurers. I don't know. Perhaps we just cap the max adventurers in the roster to solve this. That's an answer. So let's just whack that down here. Yes, then is the answer to that one, Brain. So in which case we need to ensure that the replenishment, to ensure that character replenishment is always available. You do not want a save file to be back to empty. Oh, that reminds. Sorry, a save file to become redundant. So, so I thought I just had. Let's say you've got some characters and you've been going with them for a while, and then they all die, and then you have to start with some newer characters again, right? What quests or missions would then be available? They might be too difficult for your party. So I think we'd need to ensure that the random missions, the story one won't change, but the random missions would need to be balanced based on or a variety of different missions, like easy, medium, hard, based on your roster level. Yeah, not enough houses for it, indeed. Indeed. Or maybe just in the inn, you know, we're renting rooms. There you go, you upgrade your inn, Brain. We can go and collect gold from our adventures and upgrade the Cattenburg. I'm trying to think of a pub name but I can't think of one. But the Tavern of Cattenburg could then be expanded, you know, and have a new wing, a conservatory, maybe just a garden for pitching tents. Oh, excuse the yawn. Yeah, maybe you pay to allow yourself more roster room up to a cap. That sounds nice. To allow an additional adventurers, narrative wise, presented as renting an additional room. This comes. Yeah, that sounds fine. The thing is, you got to think these adventurers got to eat and everything as well, right? So there would be some form of upkeep, I feel, as well. A small upkeep fee. Or perhaps food or rations or something like that. Something to manage too. Just stops you taking on adventures you don't need always. Oh, if you do see someone really good, then you need to make sure that when you're on a mission, you need to go and pick up food as well as do your mission. So I like that the different parameters feeding into the decisions here is interesting to me, at least. Did I have a specific other question on this? Oh yeah, so I guess it would be maybe need to expand on these. Raises another question. What happens if you cannot afford the upkeep? Oh, yeah, that'd be an interesting one. Maybe, yeah, and it asks you who do you kick out of the party? Yeah. Well, either that you need to sell cards or something to keep them, or you need to. You could rent them out or something like that. So they're unavailable to you, but they're going to earn, and then maybe they're unavailable for like 4 weeks. They go out on a to fight a war. But they come back, they're not taking upkeep them, and then they come back with some supplies as well. Something like that could be interesting. Watch, this is a mini game. Scrub-a-dub-dub. Diolch i Lisha am defnyddio'r gorchymyn Cymraeg. A ni siarad Cymraeg am spel bach. So bydd rhaid ni penderfynu. Iawn, so beth ni'n neud yma? O pa un rydych chi eisiau cael gwared o? Mae hwn yn un posibilrwydd. Yr ail peth all digwydd yw danfon, you can send, allwch chi danfon mas ar rhyw fath o mission wahanol on a long mission to reduce the requirement for upkeep whilst also earning resources, whilst also collecting resources for the roster on their return that become available when they return. However, this means the adventurer is no longer available. I do quite like the it becomes like one of those little mobile games in a way, right? Where you say, okay, this character is going to go and do this for a while. Danfon yn meddwl to send. Anturiaethwyr is adventurers. Anturiaethwr would be a singular adventurer. Or anturiaethres? Or wraig would be a lady adventurer. This means the adventure is no longer available for standard missions. Maybe we shouldn't call this missions. On a job. Maybe job. We could call it jobs. A specific type of job. Adventure ddynes. But S would probably be the feminine. Anturiaethes. Anyway. How are you doing, Bucksnell? It's good to see you. As always, how's your Sunday treating you? I'm not going to be going for a massive amount more time. I only wanted to do a couple of hours a day while I was in the mood to do it as well. I've enjoyed it. It's been good, actually. But we're going through these some of these questions now, and then I'll wrap up by going through this list and making decisions where there were split decisions with Brainoid if he's in the chat still. And then hopefully Brainoid and I can have a stream on some point this week or on the weekend where we have a devlog catch up. Yeah, that's an alternative. Yeah. This could be permanent. This could be a temporary. Staticky because wireless is junk. Oh, that's a sorry to hear. I've never had that issue before. Are they Bluetooth or are they like wireless? Temporary departure. where they accepted another job for now. The blue of the tooth. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I know you're a big fan of wires. Okay, that's cool. Did we have... so yeah, let me just scan through this before we start trying to work out some of these questions. The character side of stuff I think is fine. I think we're quite good with that. And some of the characters could be introduced via the story if we wanted to force one, but otherwise having it a random one, that's like maybe only the type of characters you've come across already in the game become available via the ones in your town. Oh yeah, oh Booksnail. It used to stress me so much. As much as I know there was a wire going from my ears to my phone on the running machine, say, I would almost every time, and often I did it, still somehow managed to just yank the cable out. My phone falls off, flies off of the treadmill. I'm like, oh, it stresses me. Anyway, okay, the Cattenburg base. I think we could flesh this out just a little bit. So we gave a bit of an idea here. So let's see, like, managing your party, I guess. Or yeah, maybe we can just do roster as an option. So the roster is a list of all available adventurers. No, all adventurers that form. Maybe a roster. We need a better word, but which is basically your fellowship, right? I don't like using the word fellowship after fellowship manager, but is it from a fellow? The player has available to them. No, has acquired. Maybe. Permissions. Fellowship of the Berg. Oh, Books now. Would you look at that little cute emote? It looks like he's in a little pink hoodie rather than disguised in a blanket. I saw it as like a gangster cat. Okay. These adventures on in your roster will can be selected to go on a mission in a maximum party size of 3. What else can they do? So do we need things like recovery? Because that's where we're going to have to come up with ideas of like stats to make sure that you rotate characters. Yeah, I only thought it wasn't a hoodie is because it was called disguise, but maybe it's a cat disguise. Who knows? In a hoodie. I've heard that in the UK, wearing your hood up is on your hoodie means you're in a gang. I mean, it doesn't mean you're in a gang, but it often is a sign. I've got headphones, which really don't help, but it is a look that is often fashioned by youths who enjoy hanging out on the street and being mildly antisocial. Diseases, yeah, they had diseases before. Yeah, okay. recover. But I'm quite keen to have a job that you have some, like, it is kind of like Fellowship Manager, that they do have some stats that you need. So if someone's always working, that he's not gonna, or she is not gonna feel like they have a fulfillment sort of kind of role, right? So if they're always working, then they'll probably leave the party. Adventurers can have a series of attributes that need to be managed in order for them to perform at their best. This includes so purpose. If an adventurer is never sent on missions, the sense of purpose reduces and could lead to the adventurer leaving the roster. I think we should have a boredom as well, which is similar, but this is more related to jobs. If we do jobs, I know I'm adding a feature, but I'm just thinking of a passive way for you to manage your non-party members. So, you know, you could have some that will work for money. You could have some that will repair equipment. You could have some that are, you know, they could be cooking and stuff to make your food last longer. So you need less supplies, things like that. It's another whole thing to kind of manage. So maybe it's an extended feature rather than a requirement. Non-party adventurers who are not on a mission are able and are healthy are able to take on jobs to accumulate resources for the roster. This increases boredom. A high boredom and high boredom can result in either unpredictable behavior / they lose their job because they do silly things, behavior, or leaving the roster as well. I think we'd probably have like a stamina or fatigue. Oh, we spoke about fatigue in a different way. So I like the idea we spoke about last time, Brain, where we had these fatigue cards that when you're out on an adventure, if you take too long on a mission, that you start getting these fatigue cards added to your deck. I really like that as a concept. Catch-up quests that give lots of XP but no money or items. That's a good idea. Good suggestion. So it could be like a training mission, you know? Yeah, it helps catching characters up, if that's your objective. XP missions that reward no progress rewards, like cards, trinkets, goal resources, but do give an significantly higher amount of XP used to great for leveling characters, low characters to catch up. To fill the boots of a deceased ex-party member. Oh, Brandon's had similar thought. Recovering health and stamina is enough, maybe, and if you try and play with fatigue characters, a few fatigue cards are added to your deck. Oh, what? As in, we just do that as an overall stat rather than how long you're out. Ex-parrot? What? Party? Wait, why am I confused, Spacey? But where's my other window here? Oh, I don't know that Monty Python skit, I'm afraid. So that would be why I didn't get the reference. Apologies. Well, this playlist I've had has been a right little bop. But it's my daily mix, so I can't share it. I was going to share it. This song is called Bend Over Beethoven, though. I mean... okay, interesting. It's by a group which is their name is exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. If that's actually the song you mean, Brian. I mean, they have 15 million listeners to some of their songs, so I guess they're quite big actually. How long you're out adds to the overall stat. So when you return back to base, they still have low stamina. Yeah, so it does contribute to it, but it's not like... I think what we liked before is we were trying to limit how long players are out on the board, though, Brain. If you remember, right? And so the fatigue thing was one of those, is that the longer you're out, if you stayed out longer than the energy that you had, it would add in the fatigue cards, therefore making it harder and harder for you to succeed on the mission. So I still like that concept. Okay, yeah. That's fine. I don't know, yeah, whether we call it fatigue or going out on missions takes can leave adventurers drained. Going out on long missions can leave adventurers drained. Fatigue stats. Fatigue points. I won't say awarded, but it's the wrong word because awarded sounds like a good thing. Allocated to adventurers if they're based on how long they've taken to complete missions. Previous missions. The previous mission. And this will affect an adventurer can still okay, yeah, so it can still be selected to for missions when fatigued, though this will impact their efficiency. This mechanic needs fleshing out, but potentially adding fatigue cards into the deck. Hello there, Greg. I'd like a Chattenburger with French fries and a Diet Coke. We only do Pepsi. Is that okay? Bye, Greg. Back, have you changed your name again? I know I always called you about. I can't even remember. You'll skip Pepsi. I know I always call you, even though your name's Bauk and then your surname starts with REG. Regnerus or something, isn't it? Signs of the Sojourner? I don't know that game. It had a nice fatigue mechanic along those lines, which tied really well into its narrative. The game well worth checking out. Thank you for the recommendation, Mark. You like it as well? Ah, it's on the Nintendo Switch by the looks of it. So let's just get a little snippet of it. That's all I want. I have no idea how combining these cards is working. Oh. Okay, so the colours kind of need to match in a way. Yeah, it probably takes a bit to... Interesting idea by the looks of it there. Yeah, it looks like some can match any. Maybe the different people speak different like languages and that. I feel like I've seen this animal before. If you want to come to an agreement with the person you're talking to, do you want to match symbols? Need to win together, like come to terms. Okay, that sounds interesting. A nice concept at least. We changed the food names for German toast to French toast and Frankfurter hot dog due to World War One. Oh, really? I've never heard of a German toast. I've heard of Frankfurter. What did you have in Berlin, Alicia? Do you remember? The kind of like the sliced up hot dog with a bunch of like mayo and all of that stuff over it. Anyway, okay. Lots of cool ideas here. Fatigue, and then I think we'd have a health. So do we? I don't know if it's this is going to be fair, but I think health might need to recover a bit after an adventure. A bratwurst, that's the one. Thank you. Okay, so health would be health lost by an adventure on a mission will remain missing unless healed, unless they spend time recovering at the hospital. Time with the healer. Maybe they only have X amounts of beds as well. So Cattenburg healer. Stat has is that it translates to directly to the HP, the available to the, or the vitality of the character when adventurer when selected on a mission. Never. However, we could change A2 to be Cattenburg live on stream Lost Edition. I mean, that would be good. You'll get a little cat character every time. Oh, it's the beautiful DJ. The time has... Yes, where have 3 years and 5 months gone? A good question. For me, it's pretty much been... I guess, yeah, this little chapter in my life has been around 40-ish months, I guess, from not quite Elisha expanding, but both my relationship, but also my kind of career getting into game dev. Probably a bit more than that now. I think I'm probably over 4 years. No, 2019 wasn't. No, 2017. Yeah, so that is pushing over 4 years now. But that's where it's gone for me. Where's it gone with you, DJ? Okay, that might be enough for now. Maybe they can be debuffs as well. Debuffs have a variety of negative passive impacts, passive effects on the adventurer. The adventurer is able to continue attending missions as always, as usual, but will suffer from the effect of the debuff. Debuffs can be cleansed. I wonder if they'd be cleansed out on a mission. Yeah, both on missions, but otherwise, and by the Cattenburg cleric. Not a whole heck of a lot, other than trying to get to game dev as well. Professionally, I work in business to business IT, but would rather code. So I've been doing it much more in the past year. After work, okay, cool. Well, what sort of stuff have you been trying to build on? And by general IT, do you mean kind of like networking stuff, like setting up accounts for people, sorting out email for a company, or network servers, desktops? Okay. An idle mobile game, cool. What are you coding it in? And good on you, teacher. That's nice to hear. Feel free to share any progress, or if you have any questions, or you want some feedback, or whatever. Always plenty of people in Discord who are happy to chat game dev. And Unity is a relatively popular engine on the Discord as well. But anyway, okay, right, this stream is going a little longer than intended. So I think with this stuff, we are going to condense this down with Brain. And chat, welcome to try and sway us as well, which approach we're going to go. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? Right, let me pause my music as well. Gone a little loud. Okay. So, Brainoid, are you in the chat, good sir? Yes. Okay, cool. Let's go through this then. And I'm just going to call out some of the points. If there's something I read that you don't like, call it out. But otherwise, there'll be a few things where we need to go with one way or the other. So first off, characters. Characters start... players, not characters. Players start off with the same 3 characters in their roster when starting a new save. This allows us to balance the player's experience in the game. This allows us to introduce the different styles of adventurers available. And this reduces decision fatigue of the new player. Who initially won't understand what any of the stats do and find it hard to decide which character is the best. Okay, cool. That's fine. New character acquisition. So this will depend on how easy they are to die. If removed permanently, then we need a way to have replacement characters. Okay. So, new character acquisition then. So there could be a selection of adventures to choose from each time you return to Cattenburg after a mission, similar to how Darkest Dungeon works. They would perhaps have different trinkets and passives that make them unique. These would benefit from minor visual variants. There could be missions which result in you getting a choice of new adventures as a mission reward. These could be thematic, like you go and defend a neighbouring town, and after successfully doing so, one of their best mages asks to join you. There could be an adventurer nodes on the world map as well, or on a mission map, I should say. That can be found on a variety of missions. Can be found by chance when on a mission. These nodes are optional, and if anything, would require the party to take a detour, making their overall mission more challenging to complete. Okay, so with this, Brain, do we feel that... I think we need all of these, don't we? Okay, these would need to be... These would need to be the weakest variety of adventurer. Start on low levels. On the lowest level, if we do a level system. Perhaps they don't have any trinkets. Any passive ability or locked trinkets, as we said. Okay, let's go on to the next bit then. Cattenburg serves as the base for the roster of adventurers that the player has acquired. Here, the player can access all of their progress-related items. I guess we can just change that to that. Including view the roster, upgrade their loadout. Sorry. So here the player can access all of their progress-related. Including, okay, view their roster. Oh, I don't like the sentence. Sorry. Here the player can access. Can manage their roster and access and view their progress, including kind of it. I know what I mean. View their roster, upgrade their loadout, and give non-mission activities. Assign non-mission activities. Visit the smithy to upgrade cards or break down unwanted cards. Visit the merchant to buy supplies for missions, including rare items like trinkets. Or rare items like trinkets. So maybe this can be a traveling merchant. It changes what they sell each time to make it interesting. Then browse the selection of available missions and choose a party. And choose a party to embark on said mission. Okay, that's fine as well. Roster. Oh, let me know if there's anything in here, but I think for now it's fine. Roster. The roster is a list of all adventurers the player has acquired and are available, which are available for missions. Adventurers in your roster can be selected to go on a mission in a maximum party of 3. Adventurers have a series of attributes. Be assigned a job. Attend something. Rest. And this would be visit Cattenburg specialists, such as the like healer, cleric, or something like that, right? Maybe a trainer. Who knows? Maybe they have a way to gain really tiny bits of XP at a cost of a little bit of fatigue or something like that. Oh yeah, change their abilities and stuff as well, right? Yeah. So this would be like upgrade their loadout. I think that's kind of what I meant there. Be assigned. Oh yeah, let's just repeat that then. Configure their loadout, which includes their current abilities, which is their special and ultimate. And equipment, which would be trinkets. I think, oh well, if we do individual trinkets rather than party trinkets. Okay, that works. We already did. Okay, yeah. Good, I don't need that then. Thank you. Okay, adventurers have a series. Hang on, is this loaded yet? No. Just making sure I'm not getting timed out while waiting to not get timed out. While recovering from being timed out before. Okay, adventurers have a series of attributes that need to be managed in order for them to perform at their best. This includes purpose. If an adventurer is never sent on missions, their sense of purpose reduces and could leave the adventurer leaving the lead to the adventurer leaving the roster. This could be fulfillment, maybe, as well. Purpose sounds better, though. And is easier to spell. Books now, sorry, I missed your little game dev image earlier. What do you think? Unreal devs want to be cool, sliding into the scene. I can't. What's in the hand of that snail? I'm not always crying. Just most of the time I'm in Unreal, I'm crying. Okay, boredom. Adventurers who are not on a mission and are healthy to be able to take on jobs and are healthy are able to take on jobs to accumulate resources to the roster. This increases working a job increases their boredom, and a high boredom can result in unpredictable behavior or the adventurer leaving the roster. Okay. What makes purpose and boredom? So purpose is that they actually go on missions. Boredom is more to do with they're working all the time. I can see how effectively both of these would happen if they don't go on missions. But the way I was thinking of it is, what's going to stop you from having characters who continually work? Yeah, I get maybe they are the same. Maybe we should consolidate it. And maybe just working a job increases their, or reduces their purpose. And low purpose. No, we don't need to say that. Okay, cool. We'll just simplify it. Is it a problem to have a work-only character? I don't feel it's in the nature of what we want. But My lava shader was beautiful. How dare you? Descent. That game had a wonderful lava level, and I'll never hear anything different. Roster job. Well, oh yeah, the jobs don't have to be in their brain. The jobs are more me trying to think of a way of what to do with your characters when they're not doing anything. But maybe there's a cost to healing, and so just having them not doing anything is good. You know, if you don't have to assign characters anything to do, then they'll just rest, and there's no cost. So that might be enough. Thank you for bringing it up. Depending on if we implement jobs, working a job reduces the purpose. Yeah, I think it may detract from the idea that it's an extra thing to balance, because out on missions you'd be accumulating resources too. So yeah. Okay, fatigue. Going out long missions can leave adventurers drained. Fatigue points are allocated to adventurers based on how long they've taken to complete their previous mission. An adventurer can still be selected for missions when fatigued, though this will impact their efficiency. Mechanic needs fleshing out, but potentially adding fatigue cards into the deck, which result in drawing non-ideal cards with, I want to say gimped, but I don't know if that's actually a friendly term. Use effects. What, just like the trap card, Brainoid? Hey-oh, Flippo, lovely to see you. Okay, but one idea is okay. So health lost by an adventure on a mission will remain missing unless they spend time with a Cattenburg healer, or of course if they are healed whilst on the mission prior to completion. Okay, debuffs have a variety of negative passive effects on the adventurer. The adventurer is able to continue attending missions as usual, but so from the effect of the debuff. Debuff can be cleansed both on missions, not by characters, but by nodes, NPCs at specific nodes. So maybe we need to not call them debuffs. They could be curses. The curses of Cattenburg. Maybe the curse. Maybe it can be curse. I'm not too sure. But debuffs allow it to be things less negative like that. Like homesick. Overworld debuff ideas like homesick and smelly. Like they need to spend some time at the bathhouse. Okay, so missions then. Missions in Cattenburg, there'll be a notice board, which is the way that available missions are presented to the player. The player must select an available mission from the notice board and select a party of adventurers to embark on said mission. The population of the notice board could be done in one of the following ways. So option 1, randomized missions contributing to an overall kind of story level, maybe rather than roster level, because that implies it's about the characters where it's not really. End missions from the mission pool are added to the notice board at random. When a player completes non-story based missions are added from a mission pool. Generic mission pool are added to the notice board at random. No, it doesn't need to say at random now, because that implies random over time. No, okay, so when a player completes a mission and returns to base, All missions have now been. All missions are replaced by a new selection of missions. Each completed mission contributes to some form of progress bar, which is the entrustment. An entrustment level, we called it, didn't we? Upon completing the progress of your current entrustment level requirements, XP, we haven't referred to this. Completing non-story missions. You're presented with a special story mission. Could be a chain or a collection of missions that you are required to work through. Once completed, the cycle repeats through, though the random pool of missions is now scaled up and includes additional areas to reflect your level of entrustment / story progression. The entrustment mission could be something that becomes available, but isn't forced upon the player, allowing players to continue grinding the current tier of generic content, mission content, to ensure the party is prepared for what would be more challenging the more challenging story mission, special story mission. So story-based missions are always available alongside. So this is the alternative then. Am I finally in? I am finally in. So story-based missions are always available alongside side missions that are used to strengthen your roster and collect cards, blueprints and trinkets. That's kind of the same as these. Missions have a difficulty rating based on your roster's experience. The difficulty rating of story missions means that the players will typically need to complete a variety of side missions in order to prepare for the upcoming story mission. Okay, so this is the first bit where we need to decide between them. Spacing. So, I think this way is more beginner friendly because we're not letting them do the story mission first. But I feel this way is more challenge yourself because you can try and do the story before you're ready for it as well. So this also kind of seems to allow a more like continual progress thing. It could be more procedural, whereas this one feels like it should be more of a linear mission all the way through. If you design the story levels in a way to address the beginner friendliness, it could still work. Oh, this thing. Yeah. Well, what is your preference out of interest, Brian? I'm just going to chuck on the kettle. I'll be back in just a moment. Why, hi. Hello there, hello there, hello there. I haven't got the raided notification. Oh, yes, I did. There it is. Hi. How you doing, peeps? You alright? Thank you very much, Go Pirate Software, for the raid. Welcome along, all 169 of you. I believe, were you playing this, Pirate Software? I think you were playing this. I saw you this morning. You're doing a bit of Lost Arkin. And I plan to do that shortly, actually. We're just finishing off a bit of design for Cattenburg. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm a game developer. I work in Unreal Engine professionally for a studio based in the UK, but I also like to do some dev content on Twitch. That's how I started before I got a job anyway, so I still try to do a little bit of that. And so today we've been looking through sorry, I just had the weird creepy butler just talk stuff to me in my ear. I got the audio muted so you can hear on stream, but anyway, yeah, I'm working on a game called Cattenburg, which myself, Spacey and Brainoid made for a Ludendari game jam a while ago, and we're still trickling away on it in the background. So we've been doing a bit of design work today. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment. But okay, Brainoid, let's go back and have a look at what you said then, good sir. So the first one is okay. It just has some different choices about mission replenishments. I like the expiration date thingy, but the next part yeah, we'll talk about that one in a sec. So the first one is okay. Different choices. Well, yeah, we'll talk about the replenishment. We'll do separately. So are you saying that you prefer the first one then, Brain? Out of these two options of whether they are, you've got to complete X amount of missions in order to get to a point where then, you know, the Queen or whoever, Lady Cattenburg, that was her name, before Lady Cattenburg then comes and offers you, like, you know, comes to you saying, oh, I've heard about the good work you're doing. Maybe we can trust you with this mission. And you get more and more kind of experienced and interesting kind of quests as a result. I say more and more, I mean you get one story-based one. Yeah, I really don't like the butler, Spacey. Although, I mean, I think I do need to send my pirate boys out on a new mission, don't I? If I remember correctly. They should have finished. That's not the tab. Finished? You got me all the good stuff? Ah. Rank B? That's not so good, is it? Alright. Off on another one. This is my game life at the moment. So I'm playing with my beautiful wife Alicia Griffin, and so I'm not progressing further until we both get a chance to play again together. So I've been since we last played, I think, which was Thursday, I think. We did a session. But since then I've gone back through the previous areas trying to like find Makoko, the good old Makoko, leveled up some of the stronghold and the gathering stuff. But yeah, so at the moment I'm just kind of in this mobile game of doing these time-based missions rather than progressing further. Your pirate missions are a lot bigger than yours. Is in which sense and how so? Chain snore. Oh, right. Okay, Brain, I think I know what you mean. Is there a way that we could combine it, Brain? Where, you know, when you get to an entrustment level, you do get the choice to start the chain of missions, but then you still have the random tasks that you can do on the way. Like the other side missions, you could just, you know, take a break and do some side missions if you wanted to. Entrustment only if... Oh, the level only affects side mission. I'm not too sure what that sentence was. Would you mind rewriting it? But yeah, if anyone is still here from Pirate Software's stream, do feel free to let me know if he was playing Lost Ark today or whether he was doing some game dev, and if you had a good time hanging out with Thor. Your level unlocks new side missions. Right. So the story mission is always there. Oh, so that's like a completely different option, isn't it? So there's an entrustment that doesn't affect the story, I assume, right? Thank you, Zapharoth, for answering. Lovely, lovely. That's nice to hear. That he had a good time on Lost Ark. I'm guessing he didn't get really drunk on stream. Or maybe drunk in game. So is it the main thing you were saying that it could be difficult to do? He was drunk with power. Wow. I mean, when isn't he? When isn't he? Chain story missions are harder to achieve in this scenario. Oh, the sweet Makoko. Ooh, very easy to lose yourself on there. I'm not even sure if we will go for the chain story. For now, we can just go for the original. Okay, yeah, let's go with it, and we can always tweak, like we said, right? So we'll go for this one. I bolded it to imply that. Okay, cool. So the replenishment options. So story missions. So I guess the story missions really, you just get given one, and then from that point you do it, right? And sometimes there'll be a two. I think this is fine. This isn't a choice. This is just a thing that we did. Bolded, not balded, silly man. Okay, and then side missions. So side missions, so two overall options. So either each time you return from a side mission, all previous side missions have been replaced and you have a new pool of missions to choose from. Or each time you return from a side mission, only the mission completed will be replaced. Older missions remain on the board. And then on top of that, what we could do is there could be an expiration time. So I guess the expiration time would supersede both of these. Yeah, this is almost like a third option, really, isn't it? In my opinion, anyway. They have an expiration time, so that would kind of serve as both. The idea that missions can remain there, and that some of them will be short. You've got to do it now, or you're going to miss it. It kind of ticks that box. We have the both. I like the expiration. Okay, cool. So we'll do that. Yeah, that's fine by me. I was quite happy with that idea. I also like this. This also applies here. Both of these do apply to this as well. Because players still have to... Well, there's not a gamble, though. So we'll just go interesting because... would be that players need to decide which missions to prioritize, and new replacement missions with a short duration could put the player in a position where they need to choose between two missions and they can only do one unless they get a time machine. Yeah. So the gamble's not there. I kind of like the gamble, but also it's hard to communicate that to the player because think if they choose to go on a mission, they spend 20 minutes out on a mission, let's say, then they come back. Do they remember exactly what was there? If it wasn't there, you'd need to have like a pop-up saying this mission was removed by, was taken on by a different group of adventurers or something like that. That's what I was thinking, brain. Good old rewind mechanic. The whole save game, it just gets corrupted if you rewind too much. It takes you back to Windows 95 and to an ASCII version of Cattenburg. Beautiful. Okay, cool. We'll go with that. And then as for missions, then. So missions could be associated with certain factions, races, or clans. You earn different levels of entrustment with the clans, which will unlock things that you can buy when visiting shops when completing missions in the area. I do like that. That's an element that they've had in MMOs before or RPG games, where you have different levels of like reputation with factions, and based on your reputation, it means one, things are cheaper to buy from them, but two, you only have access to certain items that they sell based on how good your reputation is. Beast tribes, they have it in Final Fantasy as well. Yeah, it's quite a common thing they have in these types of games. Yes, very nice. Yes, the Bunners factions. But the reason for this, right, is not so much to definitely have factions and like story based, although that could give us something to work with narrative wise. But the main reason would be to help give players decisions to make on what quests to do. Instead of always looking at, oh, this one gives me more gold, I'll go for that. They might be like, oh, well, we need to level up our Angry Bird faction. So even though the rewards are less good, we should probably grind out a few of these, because that means when we do need to go out to the Angry Bird land on a proper mission, that it'll be cheaper for us to heal, and we'll be able to buy new cards for our characters to use. For anyone who doesn't know Cattenburg as well, just to give a little bit of a quick look at it. Actually, I realize I have my YouTube open here. So also, if you want to keep up to date with Cattenburg and any other game dev content I do, such as game jams, hosting game jams, game dev interviews, giving feedback on games that are currently being developed, tutorials for Unreal Engine, you're able to check them on my YouTube channel there. But if I just go to Cattenburg, I can show you a little bit of it running. Where are we? Dearest Cattenburg Devlogs in here. So we'll go for one of the more recent ones. Okay, so Cattenburg, this is generally like a map view that we've recently put together. So if you imagine it that this is us on a mission, so to speak. And this is like a randomly generated like node map. So each one of these tiles, you start here and you need to travel between them, and each icon on the tile represents what type of encounter there is. So there's a normal fight, it's a little rat. A big rat is an elite encounter. You've got like a campsite here where you can recover. Up there was like a town where you could try and find new adventurers to join your party, things like that. So yeah, Brain made this. It's really cool. It generates automatically, places the rocks and all of that, so it'll be different each time you run it, which is cool. So this was like the node map element of it that we were thinking about doing. And then to see the actual gameplay of it, do we have the gameplay in here? Yes. So we have a little bit here. So if we start the demo run, so then the gameplay of it is on each node, you then have yourselves like a fight. The way that you fight is your adventurers are here on the left. And you have a party of adventuring cats that fit into the RPG roles. So you have like a tank character who's high on health, doesn't do much damage, but has abilities to help that either do damage based on how much health he's got left, or he can also he's good at kind of intercepting damage given to other party members, for example. And And then we have our warrior, which is a bit more. Yeah, he has quite a bit more health than some other characters, but is more of a melee sort of AOE melee sort of character. I'm basically skipping over the combat here because we were testing a few things out, so we don't actually get to see too much of the combat in this because this particular video was about the world map that had just been added in. But if we go into here, we'll probably get a bit more action. So the idea is that you can deck them out with special ultimate abilities and give them like a trinket, and that you have a deck of cards that encompass the abilities that the different characters that you've got can use. This was our old map. So then you would choose, and then you'd have that fight that we're talking about. So we've only got 2 characters here, a tank and a priest, and then they've got the 3 enemies on that side. And the idea is that you reveal cards on the board, which take action points. And then it takes an action point to play your character onto a card as well. So when you play a character onto a card, it'll do the special effect that card is. Some of them will just do the same thing no matter what character is played on it, but some of them are specific to the character. So this is a special card. It will use whatever special ability you've got equipped on your character in order to attack the enemies. So the blue cards are yours to choose from, the reds from the others. But the interesting thing here as well is you can remember that you've got this card down here, for example, or the cards that have been revealed, like approach enemy here, then next turn that card will remain there. So the ones that were used and had an effect were removed and replaced. And then any cards that weren't used remain on the deck. So you can avoid it if you don't want to use that. Or maybe you do want to use a card next time and you can remember where it is. So yeah, that's the general gist of the game Cattenburg, if anyone is wondering what we're talking about mostly. Yeah, Brain did a good job back. And thanks for the follow as well, Ron. And Zaffa, you were saying in Final Fantasy 14 you get 12 Beast Tribes quests a day. And they were different experience types. Crafting, gathering, and combat. Okay, interesting. Okay, so is the idea that you go and do all of those anyway, or do you focus on the ones that are more interesting to you, or more like desired by your character, I guess? Anyway, okay, we were in missions. Okay, we do need to wrap up. I've just got a 3-hour mark. It's going to only be a 2-hour stream, so. Oh, thank you. I could be AFK. There's one thing I haven't tried yet, actually. Is this... What do you do with this feast? I don't think we can do anything. We can hire a cook at level 10. So we have all this wonderful feast. But we can't eat it. Even a little hog roast. Look at the octopus. It's the plastic, to be honest. I've been to Japan. They do have a lot of that. This is what it'd look like if you did order it. It was great. Okay. Thank you, Brain, for the reminder. Okay. Where are we at? Okay, so missions. Mission could associate with certain factions. So special missions could trigger based on special combos. This is like a added feature. We don't need to worry so much about that. And XP focus missions. That again was a nice feature that we can add later rather than now. So the main thing here is that missions will be of various of different varieties. Crikey, we haven't even talked about that. Mission objectives will vary. But fall into the following categories. So we just have a general defeat boss mission. We might have a clear out all enemies from an area mission. We might have a escort NPC or resources from location A to location B. We may have take supplies to location C and help defend the location. So that'd be a defense quest, like a wave event. Because normally you just fight one pack and then you're done. But the defending ones are like you're there and you just have wave after wave attacking. You got to survive it. And then we might have maybe we can get rid of take supplies. That can just be a sub flavor of it. Help defend the location. And then we could do a defend Cattenburg, which is going to be a wave event as well. Yeah, we talked about these a little bit last time as well. So that's what I just wanted to do. They roughly fall into this category, just so it's written down there. Okay, cool. So if you remember any of the loose ones that we mentioned that don't fall into these categories, feel free to speak or to say, and I'll add it in now as well, Brian. Okay, and then finally we talked about whether or not when they die on a mission, are they dead? We answered this as a yes, that's fine. Is there an upkeep for the roster? I think, yeah, it can be challenging this because you'd need to at least have like a starting amount of gold to make it safe. Yes, though ensure starting supplies are plentiful, so that it is not a concern for players on their first few missions. Something like that might be. Because what you don't want is them to accidentally spend all their money and then they realize, oh, we don't have enough to keep our party going. I think maybe having food. I like the idea of maybe separating gold and like your party resources, because otherwise you have that conundrum, which is quite fine for an experienced player who really knows the game. You have the conundrum of when I'm out on a mission and I come across a blacksmith who's selling me a blueprint of a new card. I could buy that, but if I did, it means that I don't have food for when I go back, which means one of my roster adventurers is going to leave. What if it only costs stuff when you have over X characters? Yeah, that could be a good way to do it. Good point. They could be an upkeep for any characters over additional characters you take on, meaning the first 3 would be free. Yeah, to be honest, yeah, upkeep for now doesn't need to matter. We can see how it feels without. Thank you. I agree with that. All right, cool. I think we're pretty good then. Yeah, I'll try and have a think of this. And like my initial task was to try and draft up an initial flow of events. So I can use this as my basis now. And I know that you're happy with the kind of approach that I'm taking and that we're aligned. And that we can have a catch up maybe later in the week or on the weekend. And talk a bit further about it, if that sounds good to you, Brian. I'm trying to understand 1 less than 5, but thank you very much for the subscription, 32 months, and you're on a year streak, which is pretty awesome. Thank you very much, Outfrost. Good to see you. Clappenberg. That's so silly. It tickled me. We had a good Cattenburg about Cattenburg. Now thank you. Give me a Clappenberg.